What is an executive privilege? Number 1, it is the authority of the President to withhold documents or information in his possession or in the possession of the executive branch from compulsory process of the legislative or judicial branch of the government. What is executive order? Number 2, it is a directive, rule, or regulation issued by the President that have the force of law. What is treaty? Number 3, it is a formal agreement between two or more independent states. 4. What is executive agreement? It is a pact between the President and the head of foreign state and their subordinates and thus the same standing as the treaty but does not require the approval by the Congress. What is persona non grata? What is persona non grata? 5. An unwelcome person. Cabinet means 6. A body made up of the head of the executive department that advises the president. Recognition of the government means 7. The act of acknowledging the legal existence of a country and its government. Number 8. What is line item veto means? The power to cancel out a specific provision or line items in a bill while approving the rest of the measures. What is reprieve? 9. Reprieve. 9. The postponement of the carrying out of a criminal sentence. What is commutations? The power to reduce a fine or the length of sentence imposed by the court. What is pardon? 11. The legal forgiveness of the crime. Types of pardon: absolute pardon and conditional pardon. What is parole? It is the conditional release of the prisoner from correctional institution after serving the minimum period of prison sentence. What is amnesty? 15. It is the act of liberality extended by the government to a group or class of people, usually for a political offense. What is clemency? The power of mercy and leniency. Presidential succession means 17. The scheme by which the president vacancy is filled. What is delegated power? 18. Power granted by the Constitution. What is an expressed power? 19. Power specified clearly in the Constitution. What is implied power? 20. Powers not specifically mentioned but suggested by the expressed power. What is reserved power? 21. Power not given to national government. What is exclusive power? 22. Power that can only be used by the national government. What is supremacy clause? 23. The provision declaring the Constitution to be supreme law of the land. What is a concurrent power? 24. Power shared by the national and local governments. What is inherent power? 25. An authority possessed without it being derived from another. What is extradition? 26. The legal process of returning a fugitive to a state. What is extradition treaty? It is an international agreement in which the requested state agrees at the request of the requesting states and under specified conditions to turn over the person who are within its jurisdiction and who are in charge with crime against or are fugitives from the requesting states. What is popular sovereignty? The political principle that people are the source of all governmental power and that the government requires the consent of the governed. Qualification of the President and Vice President. 29. Natural born Filipino. 30. Registered voter. 31. Must be able to read and write. 32. At least 40 years of age at the day of the election, and 33. Must have resided in the Philippines 10 years before the election. Precise power of the control of the President. 34. The executive branch over all the executive department, bureaus, and offices. What is included in the ordinance power of the President? 35. Administrative orders. 36. Proclamations. 37. Memorandum orders. 38. Memorandum circulars. 39. General and special order. Different roles of the President. 40. Chief of States. 41. Chief Executive. 42. Chief Administrator. 43. Chief Diplomat. 44. Commander-in-Chief. 45. Chief and Legislator. 46. Chief of Party. 47. Chief of Citizen. Manners of election of President and Vice President. 48. The President and the Vice President shall be elected by the direct vote of the people. 36. Can a Vice President run for 2 or more consecutive terms? No. 49. No. Vice President shall serve for more than 2. No Vice President shall serve more than 2 successive terms. 50. Voluntary renunciation of the office by any length of time shall not be considered as interruption in the continually of the service for the full term for which he was elected. The Board of Canvassers of Elections returns of President and Vice President. 51. Congress. Instances of acting President. 52. If the President-elect fails to qualify, the Vice President-elect shall act as President until the President-elect shall have the qualified. 53. If the President shall not have been chosen, the Vice President-elect shall act as President until a President shall have been chosen and qualified. 54. Where no President and Vice President shall have been chosen or shall have qualified, or where both shall have died or become permanently disabled, the Senate President shall act as President. 55. Where no President and Vice President shall have been chosen or shall have not qualified, and the Senate President is unable to act. In any case of inability, the Speaker of the House of Representatives shall act as a President until a President or Vice President shall have chosen and qualified. Instances when the Vice President shall become the President. 56. In a case of death, permanent disability, removal from office, and resignation of the President, the Vice President shall become the President to serve the unexpired term. Whenever the President is unable to discharge the power and duties. 57. He shall transmit to the President of the Senate and the Speaker of the House of Representatives his written declaration that he is unable to discharge the power and duty of his office. Such power and duty shall be discharged Vice President as acting President in case of serious illness of the President. 58. The public shall be informed of the state of his health. An officer shall not be denied access to the President during serious illness. In case of serious illness of the President, the following officers shall not denied access. 59. Members of the Cabinet in charge of national security. 60. Officer in charge of foreign relations. 61. Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces of the Philippines. Provision to hold any other office, employment, or business. 62. President. 63. Vice President. 64. Members of Cabinet and their deputies. Main status of appointments elected by acting President. 65. Appointments extended by an acting president shall remain effective unless revoked by the elected president within 90 days from his assumptions or the assumption of office. Prohibition of 2 months before the next presidential election. 66. 2 months immediate before the next presidential election and up his term, the president or acting president shall not make appointment except temporary appointments to executive position when continued vacancy therein would prejudice the public service and endanger public safety. The president of appointment and with consent of commission on appointment, the president shall nominate within the consent of the commission on appointment upon 7 head of executive departments, 68 ambassadors, other public ministers and consults, 69 officers of the armed forces from the rank colonel or naval captain, 17 officers whose appointment are vested to him by the Constitution. Presidential power to pardon, except in cases of impeachment or otherwise, president may grant 71 reprieve, 72 commutation, 73 pardons, 74 remit fines and forfeitures, 75 grant amnesty with the concurrence of the Congress.